Hello guys, it's Jordan Talks here and I'm back with another video, and today this is my week 7 review. Obviously it was a bit quiet on the videos front because the Browns didn't have a game, so there was a couple of videos that weren't made there. Before we get started, if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be much appreciated, and if you do enjoy this video, if you could like it, that would also be much appreciated. And before we get into this, this may seem like a stupid milestone for some people, but my first video I ever done actually hit 100 views today, which is a big achievement for me. I never thought any of my videos would get to 100 views, so anyone who has watched that, much appreciated, and I hope you continue to support the channel. So let's get right into this one, and got 4 games here to talk about which caught my eye over the weekend, and the first one is the Vikings versus the Lions. So it's a massive divisional win for the Vikings. Come out on top on this one, and this offense looks to be humming at the moment, doesn't it? And everyone seems to have a good game. Dalvin Cook, obviously Adam Thielen went out with the injury in the after I think it was after his touchdown catch, wasn't it? He went out. Stephon Diggs had another massive game, and he continues to go from strength to strength since he's requested a trade. So I think that when him and Thielen did say a few things in the media, that kind of woke up this offensive coaching staff and Kirk Cousins to start spraying the ball downfield. And in the last 3 weeks, I mean, the stats have been well documented that Kirk Cousins is playing at an elite level, and he's playing at like one of the best quarterbacks in this league at the moment. And in this league at the moment, there's a lot of quarterbacks playing at a high level, and Kirk Cousins is definitely one of them. The Lions, they continue to play well, don't they? But they're just bumping into good teams. They've bumped into some strong teams over the last few weeks, and that unfortunately for them, they just continue to lose games. They're better than their record suggests, I think. They're now 2-3-1. But yeah, I think they're going to continue to play well, and if it wasn't for the Bears playing so badly, I think this division would be classed as the best division of football. With the Packers, Vikings, Lions and Bears, but obviously the Bears aren't doing much for that at the moment. They currently suck. One massive thing for this game was the offensive line for the Vikings. They continue to protect Kirk Cousins, and this shows when he's got a bit more time in the pocket. He's taking these shots downfield, and it's being productive for this team. So yeah, massive win for the Vikings there, and yeah, they continue to look going from strength to strength. So the next game I'm going to talk about here is the Colts versus the Texans. Now, the Colts are who I thought they were. When they lost against the Raiders, I was questioning myself, because at the start of the season, I thought they'd win this division, and I think they can actually go on a very good playoff run. Jacoby Brissett was amazing. He played incredible on Sunday, and from the get-go, the run game wasn't really getting going, and it seemed that the Texans thought, if we're going to lose this game, Jacoby Brissett's got to do it with his arm. And that's exactly what he done. He played very well. I think he threw for 4 touchdowns. Pascal had a big game for them on offense, over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. T.Y. Hilton scored a touchdown, and Eric Ebron, didn't he? But yeah, Jacoby Brissett balled out. And since the Raiders lost, they have bounced back with 2 great wins against the Chiefs and Sunday against the Texans. The Texans are still a good team, in my opinion. This has kind of been atypical of the Texans over recent years, where they look incredible one week and then the next week not so. But it just shows when the opposite team can get to the quarterback and affect Deshaun Watson, that's when they struggle, really, isn't it? I think, did they have 4 sacks today, the Colts? I think so. And yeah, I mean, the Texans, I think they're continue to win games. Wouldn't surprise me if they get to 9-10 wins, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to win this division with the Colts looking how they're looking. And that defense for the Colts, now they've got a few players back, they look very good, very strong, and they pretty much stopped the run game. And yeah, I thought they played really well, the Colts. One thing with the Texans as well, obviously, Will Fuller's went off injured with a hamstring injury, and he's out for a few weeks, I believe. So I'll be interested to see how that goes for this Texans offense, because he complements Hopkins so well, and he's kind of, if Hopkins is getting double teamed, Will Fuller can take advantage of the single coverage. But if there's not another man who can step up and take advantage of that single coverage, I can see Deshaun Watson maybe throwing a few more interceptions over the next few weeks, trying to force the ball into DeAndre Hopkins. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Frank Reich called a great game in this one. Was comfortable putting the ball in Jacoby Brissett's hands, and he balled out. So shout out for the Colts for winning that one. I'll be looking forward to watching these two teams in the next few weeks, because I think these two teams are very good teams. Next up, now this game, I'm going to talk about the Titans and the Chargers here. And I'm not talking about this game because one of the teams impressed me. I'm talking about this game because I've given up on the Chargers. Now, I picked this team to go to the Super Bowl this year. I'm sure I'm not the only person who picked them to go to the Super Bowl. They seem to have the pieces all over the shop, but every single season the Chargers get injuries in key positions every single time, and they lost I think they lost, was it their centre or someone on the offensive line over the weekend? Another one, I think it was Lamp, wasn't it? He's out, and I'm going to focus in on this one on Melvin Gordon, because he held out for a big contract, blah blah. That's okay, whatever. Do you. But if you come back from the holdout and you're expected then to ball out, and the fact that he hasn't balled out and he's actually been one of the worst running backs in the league since he's come back, and then they put the ball in your hands to win the game and you fumble it, my God, only in the second half when they started getting the ball to Austin Eckler, who was the running back before Melvin Gordon came back, when they started getting the ball to Austin Eckler, that's when the offense started moving. Melvin Gordon's been terrible. Absolutely terrible. And it was him coming back a big positive for this team. I don't know. I thought he had a very good season last year. He was dinged up with a few injuries, like most Colts Chargers players seems to be getting injuries every week. But yeah, I thought he had a good season last year. But yeah, Melvin Gordon. That final sequence of plays which sealed the deal for the Titans wasn't all on Melvin Gordon, because I think everyone thought Austin Eckler was in the end zone. That would have put the Chargers up 3 with the extra point to come. And then I thought he was in again, and things happen, football happens. There is a randomness to it, isn't there? But yeah, Melvin Gordon just hasn't played well, and he's been one of the worst running backs in the league since he's come back from his holdout. For the Titans, Tannehill played relatively well, didn't he? It wouldn't surprise me if we see Marcus Mariota by the end of the season, because Tannehill will just do Tannehill stuff, and there's no doubt we'll have a bad couple of games somewhere down the lines. And I think the Titans will just continue to be the Titans. And they play the Bucs next week, and it wouldn't surprise me if they get absolutely blown out by them. It is a bit of a shame that we won't get to see Mariota versus Winston. The tale of the first and second pick in the draft those many years back. Well, not many years back, a few years ago. Because it's quite funny that I don't think either of those two quarterbacks will be on their teams next season. But, life goes on, and let's move on to the next game. And the final game I'm going to talk about is the Ravens versus the Seahawks. And in this one, this was one of the late games, and this was the only game which was a good game, really. Although you could say that the Ravens were putting it on the Seahawks, and I'd have to agree with that one. But it was very much good fun watching Lamar Jackson be Lamar Jackson. And he reminded everyone what he was capable of. On a weekend where players' MVP bids went a bit south, Lamar Jackson reminded everyone that why he was in that conversation. And excuse me again. If you look at the pure numbers in the box score with the passing, I think 9 for 20, wasn't he? But if you actually look at the drop, the incompletions, there was quite a few drops there. I think 3 from Mark Andrews. And if add those totals, all of a sudden the passing numbers are looking very good. And obviously everyone knows what Lamar Jackson done with his legs. Had a massive game. And it's been well documented as well how many running yards he's got this season. But he's not just a runner, in my opinion. He can pass the ball, and he can pass the ball very well. One thing that I really enjoyed about this game come after the game, when we got to see the sideline footage of Lamar Jackson and Jim Harbaugh talking, saying that, do you want to go for it? All right, then let's go for it. And then it was on 4th and 2, and he ran it in for a touchdown. That was quality. I love seeing that trust between a head coach and his player. This Ravens defense, they played their best game all season, in my opinion. I know they had a few very good. Well, they limited the teams early on in the season, but they weren't against very good teams. And this game, they showed up. And I mean, Marcus Peters on his debut, only been at the team for a few days, and he gets to pick 6. Not a better way to start your career, is it, really, as a defensive back? And he might just be the player this team needs, a bit of a ball hawk. He does get caught under the ball sometimes, going for those interceptions, but it may be just the player they need. Russell Wilson, he had a bad day, didn't he? I'm not the biggest Russell Wilson fan, but I ain't going to give up hope on him that he's going to continue to ball out this year, because he's been playing incredible. And I mean, we're in week 7 here, and this is his first interception. And he did throw 2, so 2 interceptions. 1 went for a pick 6. But he'll be back, and he gets to play the Falcons next week. So I'm sure we'll be able to have a big game there, because anyone can have a big game against the Falcons, it seems, and they stink. But all in all, it's a bad weekend for the Seahawks, with the 49ers and the Rams winning, and they will be hoping that either one of those slip up next week, with the 49ers playing the Panthers, I believe, and the Rams playing the helpless Bengals, where Andy Dalton seems to play for the other team in for the fourth quarters. He had a bad day today, Andy Dalton, Sunday, but we're not going to talk about that game today. So yeah, that was the 4 games that caught my eye over the weekend. And now what we're going to do is the high five, is where I give a high five to 5 players or coaches or someone involved with the team for what they've done on the weekend. Could be something, a historic achievement, or it could just be a massive performance. So we're going to start this one off with Aaron Rodgers. Now, he had a career game. And then when you think about Aaron Rodgers, you think career game. My God, he must have had a massive game. And yes, he did. It counted for 6 touchdowns. 3 for 5, ran in for 1, and he was looking like Aaron Rodgers of old. And Aaron Rodgers firmly put his hat in the MVP chat, because he's been playing amazing this year. And I was thinking back to week 1 when he was laughing after the game when they beat Chicago, saying, we've got a defense, and that just made. It's always well known that an offense takes a bit of time to get going in the season. It's only week 4, week 5 when you finally see what they're capable of. And the fact that they have got a defense this year, it's I think it's allowing Aaron Rodgers to take probably a few more chances, because he knows if he does turn the ball over, it's not going to be the end all and be all. And but yeah, he's playing incredible at the moment. He had a massive day, and some of those throws, especially I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, I think the. Scandrick? No, not Scandrick. I can't pronounce his name. I remember he's got 3 names anyway. But yeah, he caught one down the sideline for a long. I think it was a long touchdown. I think he had 2 catches for 133 yards. But yeah, that was an incredible throw. So yeah, high five for Aaron Rodgers. And the next one up is another quarterback, and that is Kirk Cousins. Briefly touched him earlier, and over the last 3 weeks, he's been the perfect quarterback. He's incredible. Passer rating, QBR, you name it. 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. Throwing absolute bombs down the field. And yeah, this is what they paid for when they thought, we're going to sign Kirk Cousins. This is what they thought they were getting. And it only took for him to be called out by his own teammates, for him to show him his ability. I'm a big Kirk Cousins fan. I'm not going to lie. I've kind of lost a bit of hope in him. But yeah, he's had some 3 big games in a row now, and let's hope he can continue. Because if he can continue to play like that, the Vikings will be there at the very end of this season. No doubt about it. Next up, Chase Edmonds. Now, the Giants' defense were definitely chasing Edmonds around the field, because he absolutely balled out. I mean, David Johnson was on the injury report. It was unsure if he was going to play or not. I think he played 1 or 2 snaps. Chase Edmonds comes in, former 4th-round pick, 126 yards on 27 carries. 28 carries, something like that, and 3 touchdowns. I mean, he had 24 carries all season leading up to this week, and then he goes and does that. I mean, he looked so fast out on that field. It was incredible. It's mad to think he didn't get many more opportunities, even with David Johnson there. But yeah, I'm sure when David Johnson does come back, we will still see Chase Edmonds a lot more than we was before, because he's proven to himself. He's proven that he can do it. So yeah, big game for Chase Edmonds. High five for you. Next up, Nick Bosa. So this guy has been absolutely balling out the last few weeks on this San Francisco 49ers defense, who have been performing at a very high level as a unit. And he didn't only have a great game individually, because he was a big factor in contributing towards this shutout, but the thing that puts him in the high five this week is sacked to end the game, and he slides on his stomach on the wet field. It was just quality to see. Seeing a rookie express himself like that, it was very good to see. So high five for Nick Bosa for that one. And then finally, on this list, we've got Eric Ebron. He had a good day himself, didn't he, for the Colts? But that touchdown catch was hands down the best catch I've seen this season. For such a big man, he showed such great agility to get his both feet down. I mean, in real time, I thought he stepped out of bounds. I think a lot of people did. But yeah, that was an incredible catch. So he deserves a high five for that, even if it's just that alone. But yeah, he had a good day. I think he had 70-odd yards on 4 catches. Massive game for Eric Ebron. So high five to him. And then that is the high five sorted out. So Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Chase Edmonds, Nick Bosa, and Eric Ebron make it onto the high five this week. Right, that's the end of this video. I will be back later on in the week with a preview of the Browns versus the Patriots, which will be a fun one to have a look into. And then I'll also be coming back with my Week 8 preview. So if you have enjoyed this video, if you could leave a like, if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be great. Help me get up to 10 subscribers, guys. I'm nearly there. I'm on 9. Yeah, so leave a comment below. Who caught your eye on the weekend? Was it a certain game or a certain player have a standout performance? Let me know. But until the end of the week, well, Thursday, yeah, end of the week. That's me done. So peace out.